It's week 13. No apologies needed. We're here. And we got no buys this week, but 25% of the league is already played. So why don't we run through the actives and inactives real quick and then give everybody some time to get their questions in the chat, and we'll get going. So active today, Alec Pierce is playing. Trevor Lawrence is back. Breece Hall, there was a little bit of a question early in the week whether or not he was going to play. He is active. He's going to play. Brock Purdy is fully expected to be active tonight. He'll be back against the Bills tonight. Tajay Spears is back. Brian Robinson is good to go. Out today are Dalton Kincaid, Ja'Tavion Sanders, Jalen Coker, Cedric Tillman, Josh Downs, J.K. Dobbins, and Austin Eckler. Both of those guys went on IR this week. Their seasons, as far as fantasy football is concerned, might be done. And game time decisions is looking like Keon Coleman. I would lean towards him probably not playing. Same thing with Devontae Smith, but they are still up in the air. Sam, how you doing?
Man, life is treating me like a baby treats a diaper. No, I'm kidding. I'm doing just fine. I'm ready to get week 13 on. We're closing in on the playoffs. Got some interesting matchups tonight, some close games according to Vegas. Some really ugly lines there. And of course, there's the threat of weather in a couple places.
Yeah, 2 weeks to go. This week and next week, and then with the fantasy playoffs. I can't believe it's here already. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, and like you were saying about Eckler and who?
J.K. Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins. The earliest we're going to be able to get him back is for the fantasy championship, and it's really unlikely that you want to just throw the guy out there in the championship game if everything's working for you. So you might be better off just
be done
in improving your bench.
Yeah, I agree. So there's possible weather tonight in the Bills game, but it sounded to me this morning that the reports are telling us that it's really not going to be a factor.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I saw 15% all the way through this afternoon and into the evening. Wind was only between 14 and 16 miles an hour. So, and I'll say what I always tell everybody, which is if there is a little bit of snow, that favors the guy running forward, not the guy running backward. So I wouldn't be hesitating to play wide receivers. But you got to worry about Brock Purdy's injury a little bit regardless. You don't want him to come down hard on that shoulder. And you also, there's questions about, how accurate a deep ball he can throw too. You know what I mean?
I'm actually very concerned about Brock Purdy, like his long-term outlook here. Like there's a chance, or if he goes out there and he plays tonight and that shoulder isn't really, it's still sore, it's not feeling right, there's a chance they shut him down. They lose to the Bills, his shoulder's acting up, there's a chance they shut him down for the rest of the year. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but it's certainly in the range of possibilities and something that I am really concerned about.
Yeah.
Why don't we grab our first question from Roderick? He's asking, would you prefer to start? Which of these three would you prefer to start? Khalil Shakir, Tank Dell, or Michael Pittman? Currently projected to lose by 15 points, so we need some big numbers, but also can't afford a dud. So we're looking to kind of swing for the fences here, but not maybe hit a home run. We're kind of trying to hit a double here. What do you think?
Is this pick 1 or pick 2?
I believe it's pick 1.
Okay. I'm thinking, I guess if you're going to half swing for the fences, I suppose with Josh Downs out, maybe Pittman is the guy that you want to play. Um, Pierce isn't the only one that can catch a long ball. So I actually don't have Dell ranked that high. Yeah, I'm gonna say Pittman. I'm gonna say Pittman in this. How about
Well,
you?
now he's changed it. Now he's changed it to pick 2. So who's
Okay,
your other pick?
I'll go Pittman and Shakir.
Okay. All right. I think that's what I would do as well. I do like Tank Dell a lot this week. I have him ranked right with those guys, but
Yeah,
I think Pittman is your safe play for me. I think he's going to give you, that 5 for 55-yard type of game. I don't know if he's scoring a touchdown. I don't know if he's breaking off a big play, but he'll get you there. With Josh Downs out, they're going to pepper him with some targets. I do like the matchup for Tank Dell a lot. I like it for Shakir as well, especially if we're going to be without Keon Coleman, and we're
without
not going to have to
Coleman.
worry about the
Yeah.
weather. So yeah, it's tough for me to say any of these guys. We talked about Tank Dell as a sleeper last night. But yeah, I think Pittman's definitely the safest play here.
I've got a Twitter question here, Alex. If
Yeah,
you got a
let's hit it.
second.
Yeah, let's hit it.
I've got in a flex, PPR, Tank Dell or Gus Edwards.
I think we got to go. I think we got to go with Gus Edwards there.
I think we do too. I kind of surprised myself when I looked back at the rankings I did like 2 days later at how much higher I had him than I thought I did. Because the matchup really isn't bad. So I mean, against Atlanta, and that could end up being a shootout too. I'm just concerned that all of the passing volume might go to Vidal or Haskins. But I still think I think you got to roll with a running back in that situation.
Yeah, I agree. There's definitely risk that turns into just an ugly 3-headed backfield. Because I mean, Gus
Right.
Edwards doesn't give you any juice, but I do think he's going to be the lead guy, especially early on. We might see that kind of trail off over the next several weeks, but I think the first week without J.K. Dobbins, they're going to try to lean heavily on Gus Edwards. We might get some goal line vulture from Hassan Haskins, maybe a little passing game action from Kamani Vidal.
Yeah, and I
But I
do
would
I
lean.
do think Gus Edwards will get the first crack at the goal line
Yeah.
in the red zone. It just depends on whether or not he gets in, and then they get creative.
Yeah, well, I mean, even with a healthy Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, they've still been rotating Hassan Haskins in at the goal line as well, which is really just a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it
But
really is.
how about should we start Marvin Harrison Jr.? This is from Tech Gamer BB. Start Marvin Harrison Jr. or Juwan Jennings or Devontae Smith in a PPR league, or should we consider Nick Westbrook Akine?
I'm starting to sound like a broken record. I'm going to go Juwan Jennings.
Yeah.
He's the one on that team. MHJ, you just don't know which Kyler's going to show up or which MHJ is going to show up. Devontae has got injury issues. And Westbrook Akine, look, his floor is subterranean. I mean, the guy catches 1 or 2 balls. It just so happens that in 6 of the last 7 games, that 1 ball was a touchdown. You can't just bank on that. You can't plan on a guy to score a touchdown every single week. So I'm Juwan Jennings on this.
Yeah, I agree. So Tech Gamer BB is concerned about the snow, and we kind of just talked about it. He probably missed it. So the latest reports that came out this morning are that once we get to game time, maybe there's some flurries, but overall the snow is going to be done in Buffalo. Even the winds aren't going to be significant there. They got 15 to 20 mile per hour gusts. I'm not adjusting my rankings whatsoever for that weather because I don't think it's going to be a factor, according to the latest reports we got this morning.
I'm not either, and it was 15% snow possibility all day, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much all. 15% is nothing.
Just because it snowed last night doesn't mean it's going to snow tonight.
Right, just
But yeah,
because they keep showing that video over and over again
the scare
on the
tactic.
pregame show does not mean that they're going to be plowing like every 4 downs.
It's a scare tactic. Yeah, so I'm with you. Juwan Jennings, he's the only one of those wide receivers that have it inside my top 24 wide receivers this week. How about Travis is asking, howdy, gentlemen. Would you start Tony Pollard or Brian Thomas Jr. in the flex in half PPR?
Half PPR. Let me take a look. Why don't you go ahead, Alex?
Yeah, so the Titans are playing the Commanders, which, is just kind of middle of the road matchup for Tony Pollard. He's been getting a pretty decent workload. Obviously, we got Tajay Spears back in the mix here as well. I do like Brian Thomas Jr. with Trevor Lawrence back. That's a huge step up from Mac Jones over the last couple of weeks for Brian Thomas Jr. So we could get him unlocked again. He's kind of recovered from his chest injury. They're coming off the bye week. Get Trevor Lawrence back. Could be a little sneaky shootout with the Texans. Could be a lot of points in that game. I'm very tempted to play Brian Thomas Jr., but I think as far as giving you a nice, solid, 12 to 15 point floor, I'm going to roll with Tony Pollard here. If you need to take the big swing, you can go with Brian Thomas Jr., but I'm going to roll with Tony Pollard.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same. He's not even on my radar here where I'm looking, which means I passed him a long time ago. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think go with Pollard. He should be able to make headway. And even when Tajay was playing, that snap count was really starting to tilt in Pollard's direction anyway.
Right.
And he was still getting catches, most importantly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you gotta defer to the running back in this situation.
How about from Kyle, Devon Vele or Elijah Moore in full PPR? Or if Devontae Smith does miraculously play, would you play him over those two wide receivers?
Hold on one second here.
So that latter part of it for me is a yes. If we get news that Devontae Smith is going to play, which I don't expect is going to happen, but if it does, I'm going to play Devontae Smith over Elijah Moore and over Devon Vele. That's going to be a fantasy points party. Eagles, Ravens, lots of fantasy points going to be scored in that game. I would fire up Devontae Smith with full confidence. However, it sounds like he's probably not going to play. So that means we need to decide between Devon Vele or Elijah Moore. So we got Devon Vele. They're kind of playing against each other. Devon Vele against the Browns, Elijah Moore against the Broncos. With Cedric Tillman out, the way Jameis has been playing, I know it's a tough matchup against the Broncos defense, but I think if we're shooting for, a semi-ceiling game, I want Elijah Moore. Devon Vele can give you a nice 4 for 40. If you want 8 points, go with Devon Vele. If you want, 12 to 15 points, I'd take a little bit of a bigger swing with Elijah Moore. He'd be my play.
Right. I do want to say to Travis, if he's still here, I've still got Houston defense special teams, regardless of whether Lawrence is playing or not, over the Pats. Yeah, I agree with you. I did see something yesterday that said they thought Devontae Smith was planning to go today. So I guess he's going to test out how he feels before the game. So I think he's going to be a true game time decision. So keep him in your in your flex spot, not in your wide receiver spot, so that at 4 o'clock you can switch them out if you need to.
Right.
Because Broncos in Cleveland is this afternoon, is it not?
I believe so. I believe it's a 4:25 game.
Okay, cool.
How about from Johnny D? T. Higgins or James Conner in the flex and PPR league? James Conner just got paid.
Huh? What'd you
I
say?
said James Conner just got paid.
Yeah, he did. You believe that?
No, my dynasty Trey Benson shares are heartbroken.
Yeah. Well, Benson will still take over the job next year. But Connor will be involved. Johnny, T. Higgins for me. He has rapidly become Joe Burrow's security blanket. You know what I mean? When they need that first down, or they need just short intermediate throws, it's Higgins all day long.
Yeah, I agree with that. Travis Etienne. This is going back to the Devontae Smith, Elijah Moore, Devon Vele question. I believe
I'd play Etienne over Vele, but not over.
I'd play him over both. Not over Devontae Smith.
You'd play him over Elijah Moore?
Over Elijah Moore. Yeah, I would. Yeah,
I wouldn't.
I would. All right. I believe actually they're Browns, Broncos. That's Monday Night Football.
Oh, right. That's correct. Sorry about that, Kyle.
Marvin Harrison Jr. or Terry McLaurin?
Terry McLaurin.
Yeah,
for sure. No question.
Yeah, Terry McLaurin. James Cook or Brian Robinson Jr.?
James Cook.
Yeah, that's where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go James Cook. If we had a full healthy Brian Robinson Jr. and maybe he eats into some of that Eckler work on top of his regular work, maybe I'd lean towards Robinson there. But I think I want to go with James Cook there. It's gonna be a lot of
yeah, and you know what? If we're completely wrong about the weather, which we're not, but that turns into a big smash mouth running game, then you're going to want Cook.
Right. Either way.
But we're not wrong about the weather.
No, we're never wrong. We're never wrong about anything.
We're never wrong. Watch our show from last night.
How about Chuba Hubbard or Kenneth Walker?
Seahawks have who does Seahawks have?
Jets.
Oh man.
The Jets defense packed their bags 2 months ago.
Yeah, I think you got to go with Kenneth Walker. I mean, he's played well all season.
Yeah, I agree. I do like Chuba Hubbard, but
yeah, I do too.
I think they're both top 20 running backs, but I agree with you. How about Rashad White or Tony Pollard? Tony Pollard,
right? That's a good one, actually.
I mean, we saw last week for the first time ever, Bucky Irving out snapping, ran more routes, saw more targets than Rashad White. If he started to eat not even just into the rushing production for Rashad White, he's also starting to take away the routes and the targets from Rashad White, which is like his bread and butter. That to me, really, really concerning for me. I don't have much confidence at all playing Rashad White, so I'm going to go.
I think that, and then I think about when Audric Estime did that to Javonte Williams, and everybody was like, Audric Estime's the guy. And what happened? Like, he touched the ball 3 times in the next 2 games.
I mean, I get it, but come on. Bucky Irving has been trending in this direction for 8 weeks at this point.
I agree, and I've got incidentally, I've got Pollard ranked higher anyway, so I'm going to go with Pollard too.
I mean, as a Rashad White guy, I hope you're right, but
Yeah,
how about Tank Dell or Jerry Jeudy?
Jerry Jeudy for sure.
Ooh, okay.
He's going to have 15 targets that game.
All right. I'm going to pull up my rankings for that one. You know what? I might not be able to. My laptop is crawling right now.
Yeah, you're freezing up a little bit.
All right, let's move on to Chase Brown or Chuba Hubbard.
I think you got to go Hubbard. Even though my bold prediction last night was that Chase Brown would be the RB1 this week, but that was really bold. I think you have to go Chuba in this situation against Pittsburgh. You know, I think Chase Brown's going to get his. They're going to find creative ways to get him the ball. But I would still err on the side of the guy that's been doing it all season.
I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna go Chase Brown there.
Okay.
How about from Rick Bloom? Full PPR. We need a quarterback. Got to make sure we get the PPR quarterbacks.
That's right.
Sam Darnold, Matthew Stafford, or Anthony Richardson?
I feel like I want to say Richardson off the top of my head, but I need to look. Hold on.
So I'm pulling up my rankings as well. I got Matthew Stafford as the QB9 this week. I really like his matchup against the Saints. I got Anthony Richardson as my QB15. And Sam Darnold got all the way down to QB20 for week 13.
Oh wow, that's funny. I've got Richardson at 12, Darnold at 14, and I have Stafford at 8. So I am definitely in on Stafford here.
All right. So we agree there for sure.
Yeah, the Saints are just I think they're ripe for the pickings by Kupp and Nacua this week.
My mind is blown though that you have Anthony Richardson higher than me.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said I want to say I'm about to say Anthony Richardson. I was like, he's gonna crap himself.
How about this one from Andrew? Jordan Addison or Jaylen Warren? So we kind of saw a backfield shift last week. Jaylen Warren started to take over a little bit in Pittsburgh. Jordan Addison's been hot the last 2 weeks, scoring touchdowns and actually getting targets with it. But I agree with you. I'm going to go Jaylen Warren.
Yeah, Jaylen Warren, he's not going to take over any more than he did last week.
Right.
Because he's just not a big enough back for that. But the Bengals are super susceptible to the leak out dump off pass, which is what he's best at. And they're horrible at tackling. So if he gets in open space, he could break off a couple big ones.
Welcome into the show, Isaiah. How about James Cook or Brian Robinson? Did we get this one earlier from someone else, or is it slightly different?
I think it's slightly different. I'm going to go James Cook again on this one. Oh, we did have this one because we said Brian isn't fully healthy and Cook, if we're wrong about the weather, which we're not, you want a running back in the snow. But we're not wrong about the weather.
Yeah, you're right. We're never wrong. So James Cook. James Cook is the play there for sure. How about Derrick Henry? Derrick Henry or Chuba Hubbard?
Derrick, what are you laughing at?
Derrick Henry or Chuba Hubbard? Like,
of
course it's Derrick Henry. Come on.
I think I'm gonna say Derrick Henry on this one.
Oh, it's kind of a head scratcher. Yeah, Derrick Henry.
That's just to make sure that these are real people and not bots.
Maybe. TikTok asks some strange questions sometimes. How about this one? How about this one from chat? I like this one from chat. Kamani Vidal or Jeremy McNichols? This is a big boy league.
Kamani Vidal or Jeremy McNichols for me.
Yeah, I agree. Jeremy McNichols is a play. We talked about him as a sleeper last night.
You've got a chance for him to take over the volume if something happens to Robinson.
Yeah,
and also he's so super explosive on those catches out of the backfield. I want to see him go. And I know that Vidal can be that guy too, but it's a little more crowded in Los Angeles.
Yeah, we got to take a wait and see approach with Kamani Vidal. I think there's a chance that he eventually, eats into that workload. Maybe even by the middle of the fantasy playoffs, he's taken over that backfield. Right. But at this point, I would much rather just play Jeremy McNichols in this matchup.
I agree.
How about Kyler Murray or Brock Purdy?
Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go Kyler. I know he's got a tough matchup against the Vikings, but I just can't. The situation with Brock Purdy. What if he's just throwing 5-yard passes this whole game? We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, that would be my concern as well.
How about Cortland Sutton or Jonathan Taylor in a PPR league?
Ooh, man, Sutton's just been so hot.
He's been so good.
But I've got Jonathan Taylor ranked pretty high this week.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a good question.
Yeah, I think this is the week we got to play Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I think you do too. I've got him as my RB12. So he's in the RB1 tier. Yeah, I think especially with Downs out too, they got to lean on the run.
Exactly what I was about to say. With Josh Downs out, they're going to lean on the run game more. They're going to play more 12 personnel. They're going to maybe dump it off to JT in the passing game a little bit more. And that they're playing against the Patriots who have a susceptible run defense. How about let's pick one from Ladd McConkey, Cortland Sutton, James Cook, or Chase Brown?
Oh, good Lord. What an embarrassment of riches. I'm going to go Sutton on this one. I think of all of those people, Sutton has the best chance to score a touchdown, and I'm going to lean into that. Usually I would defer to the running back in this situation. Yeah, I've become a big Sutton fan, and he's just been on fire for like 6
age 29 breakout, baby. Age 29 breakout.
I mean, it's been like 6 or 7 games straight that he's just crushing it, and he gets all the red zone targets. I'm going with him. I'm playing Ladd in several leagues, but if I had Sutton, I'd play Sutton over him.
I think I would rank them, because I'm going to completely disagree with you. I think I would rank them Chase Brown, Ladd McConkey, Cortland Sutton, James Cook.
Well, you're wrong.
Well, one of us has to be right. So, what else we got? We got Bo Nix or Josh Allen? That's a legitimate question.
Bo Nix or Josh Allen? I mean, it's still Josh Allen.
Yeah, it's Josh Allen. This is going to be the put the team on your shoulders Josh Allen type of game.
This is just everybody's so freaked out about the weather. That's the deal.
Right.
And they're going to feel real silly when there's not even there's not even like a flurry at game time.
You're gonna see full green. You can see the logo in the middle. You're gonna see all the painted lines and the numbers. You're gonna see everything. It's not no snow. Yeah. How about Isaiah wrote us a paragraph. I'm in a tough situation because I already had Devon Achane play, and Amon-Ra play. So I have a running back spot and a wide receiver spot. In my wide receiver spot, I have Cooper Kupp. My running back spot, I have Bucky Irving. I think he's referencing the previous question. All right, so we already got that. How about Roderick is back in here. Would you drop Adonai Mitchell to pick up Jeremy McNichols for the rest of the season?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do that. I mean, I'm not excited to roster either of these guys necessarily rest of the season, but
Mitchell really has done nothing, and Down. It's
right.
not like Downs is gone for the year. And McNichols, it seems like somebody in that backfield is always hurt, so it's like he always has a role.
Right. How about this one? How about David Njoku or Taysom Hill?
I'm going Taysom Hill.
Ooh, I like it.
I was looking at his matchup earlier today, and I was like, it could be a Taysom Hill week.
You know, on my Saturday night 7:30 show, I always give a underdog play for the week. And this is what we did. If my laptop will cooperate, we're going higher, 24.5 receiving yards on Taysom Hill. All right, next question. We got 5 minutes. We got to pick up the pace here. How about Johnny is asking Juwan Jennings or Darnell Mooney?
Juwan Jennings, next question.
Yeah, Juwan Jennings. I agree. How about Rashad White or Tony Pollard? I think we answered that one. It's Tony Pollard.
Yep.
Baker Mayfield or Jalen Hurts? That's going to be Jalen Hurts, right?
Yes.
How about George Pickens or Chuba Hubbard in the flex? PPR.
Pickens. He eats the Bengals alive.
Yeah, George Pickens. Jerry Jeudy or Jordan Addison?
Jerry
Jeudy. Garrett Wilson or Brian Thomas?
Ooh.
Last game ever. Aaron Rodgers.
I'm gonna say Brian Thomas Jr.
All right, I'm gonna go Garrett Wilson, but I do definitely like Brian Thomas Jr. this week. Oh, DK Metcalf or Darnell Mooney?
DK Metcalf.
Yeah, I agree. DK Metcalf. Calvin Ridley or Darnell Mooney? A lot of Mooney questions.
Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, I agree. Calvin Ridley. How about...
That one's a little closer, though.
Yeah, it is definitely closer. Brian Robinson, Khalil Shakir, Jerry Jeudy.
Brian Robinson, Khalil Shakir, Jerry Jeudy. I'm going Jeudy again.
All right.
I'm counting on a big week out of Jeudy because I think he's just going to get targeted a ton.
All right, Jeudy it is. How about T. Higgins or Terry McLaurin? Definitely a big T week, right?
Yep.
Yeah. How about Devon Bailey or Alec Pierce?
Well, I already know what you're going to say because you're a closet Colts fan.
Well, today I am. Today I'm rooting for the Colts. We got to get that draft pick.
Who is it? Pierce against who? Vele?
Vele, yeah.
If you need a floor, Vele. If you want to hit a homer, go Pierce.
All right. I don't know, man. Is asking pick 2, half PPR. Devontae Adams, T. Higgins, James Conner. Who are we sitting? Devontae.
We're sitting Connor.
Okay. All right. I think
against Minnesota.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup there. I'm gonna sit Devontae.
Well, the reason I went against Garrett Wilson is because I can see Devontae having a game today to try to keep Aaron around for one more week.
Yeah. All right. That's fair. All right, we got one more minute. Taysom Hill or George Kittle?
Kittle.
Bo Nix or Brock Purdy?
Nix.
Bo Nix. James Cook or Bucky Irving?
Cook.
Taysom Hill, Dallas Goddard. Taysom Hill, right?
Goddard.
Oh, what? Really? I do
that,
like. I
Against
do.
that
Yeah.
Ravens defense.
Fantasy points party. It's a fantasy points party. I'm gonna go Taysom Hill.
Especially if anything, even if Devontae Smith goes, if he comes out early, who else is there?
All right, that's fair. That is fair. How about Nick Chubb or Rashad White? I think this is where we got to go Rashad White, right?
Yeah, Rashad White.
Yeah. How about Kyler Murray or Anthony Richardson?
It's close. It's close. I'll say Anthony Richardson.
All right. Well, that brings us to 1 o'clock. That is our show. Hopefully we did a little bit better than last week. Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining.
Last week was our one fuck up.
Yeah.
Or mine.
Anyway. It's by Mageddon. All right.
By Mageddon got me.
That's our show. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We got content coming for you all week long. And have a great day today and good luck.